I started as a musician, and then I was a professional musician. I mean, I was getting paid
Got it.
by just playing the piano.
Okay.
You know, like I will get hired just to play the piano, and that's it. I know that everybody says the same thing, but it's so important, and I didn't believe it at first. You have to believe in yourself.
Okay.
You have to believe in yourself. First thing, obviously, keep working on your craft.
Sure.
The best way to start from like nothing, I would say, is YouTube.
Okay.
Absolutely. There's a lot of good information there. There's a lot of bad information there, but it's information.
What's the most memorable? Because normally the most memorable means something, right? So what's the most memorable and why is it the most memorable? What did it mean to you?
The most memorable. I have a couple.
Hit me.
I have a couple. I would say the first time I recorded
This is Rock Talk, where we document short conversations with experienced people in the Rockwell ecosystem. We're here at HQ today, and we're with a very special guest, Edgar Perez, born in Cuba, raised in Dominican Republic. Edgar is a music producer, pianist. Edgar has collaborated with artists such as John Cicada, Willie Chirino, Justin Quiles, Jay Wheeler, Blessed, and many more in that category. Edgar has also worked with us as a booking agent at Rockwell Talent. Very awesome experience we had, and currently has a project going on with FIU, Florida International University, for music education. I know nothing about it, and I told you off camera we want to kind of dive into that a lot. With this much knowledge and credibility, I'm sure today's going to be an exciting one, but also an insightful one. Anybody that's in the music industry, a musician per se, a future musician, an aspiring musician, I want them to get a lot of value out of this, and I'm sure they would. Welcome to Rock Talk, Edgar.
Thank you. Thank you for that awesome introduction.
I worked on it all night, but we're here. Let's get started. I wanna dive right into music and what essentially got you in it. So we'll start with what it was like being into music, or were you into music when you were in Cuba and Dominican Republic?
Absolutely. Yeah, since I was a little kid, I remember when, you know, when someone asks you what do you want to be when you grow up.
Absolutely.
And most kids say it's like I want to be a cop or a fireman.
Fireman, that's always the go-to.
You know, like a pilot. You know, like
yep.
very masculine things. You know,
NBA basketball player.
Exactly,
you know?
exactly. Like a baseball player. You know, like hockey player, whatever. Something like very different happened to me, because when my father asked me the first time, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I said, I want to be a pianist. I want to do music. That was my first response to that, and has been the same since all time. So I've always been involved in music. My father is a trumpet player.
I was just going to ask, was there any
he
family
plays
ties?
With this salsa singer, Ray Ruiz.
Okay.
He's a trumpet player, and he's well known in the Miami scene. He's played with many people, so my mom is also a musician, so yeah, she plays the guitar and she's a vocal coach. And she actually teach, so we're all involved in music. My brother's not a musician, but he plays the guitar.
Okay. As a hobby.
Yeah, he's a painter, like a great artist, by the way. And yeah, we all have been involved in music or art in some way. So I grew up in that.
And outside of your family, what about early references? Like, was there anybody that when you were a kid, you were like, I want to be that, or I want to be him, or?
Wow. Since I was a little kid, maybe a mixture of Quincy Jones. I actually, I'm not like a huge fan of anybody.
Okay.
Like I didn't have posters of artists in my room. You know, I never bought memorabilia from artists. So I'm not like a super fan of like when you're actual fan of a musician or an
Sure.
artist, So I've always been like an admirer, but not like a fan, like a true fan that will chase them
More
throughout
like
the
a
concerts,
fan of music, not of
Exactly.
a
I will,
musician.
I will enjoy music, but it will like be in my own environment, if
Nice.
that makes sense.
Makes a lot
So
of sense. More of an
I
artistic
grew up,
approach.
yeah, exactly. So how it will make me feel,
Sure.
like, so I grew up like with that vision of being like a music creator, first as a pianist, I studied classical piano
Okay.
in Cuba. And then in the Dominican Republic, I continued studying piano and music. Then I was introduced to the guitar, like in a more professional way. Then I started doing music production, like started making beats and all that. And it was like so such a nice experience to have, because you're always discovering things.
Yes.
It never stops. It's not like I'm a doctor and you have to keep up with what's happening, but you're not like diving into new things
All the
entirely,
time, right.
discovering new things all the time. And that's what kept me like enjoying
Hooked.
music. Exactly. and hooked to it, and I also admire a lot Sting.
Okay.
I grew up listening to a lot of his music. I grew up listening to a lot of jazz music, a lot of electronic music. I remember when I was a little kid, I used to have this little recorder.
Okay.
And I would play electronic music all night.
Drive people crazy.
If I didn't do that, I wouldn't be able to fall asleep.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was not loud, but I had to be listening to that, in order to fall asleep.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I grew up
Connect to
listening
it.
to that. Like,
Is this common on an island like Cuba or Dominican Republic? Are a lot of people into music?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, into music, yeah, but doing what I was doing now, it was not common at all.
No
I
way.
remember that I would have to practice the piano, and my friends would call me from downstairs, like, Edgar, come, let's play. And I would play, and my father was sitting next to me, like, keep practicing, like, and I was like, now I didn't want to do it, I was a little kid.
Right.
Basically, he forced me to practice, and then thanks to that, I continued like actually enjoying music, and I didn't like quit.
Right. Yeah. There's a balance to it because
Absolutely.
sometimes when it's too not enforced but emphasized.
Absolutely.
Sometimes kids grow a hatred towards it.
Yeah, but
Right.
that's when you're not a musician. So I also teach piano, music production, and guitar, and all
that's
that.
a great way of looking at it.
Yeah. So when you actually need that extra push, in the end, you say thanks, to the person that actually did it.
Yeah.
Because that person is the one that has the vision of what he sees that you can get with that little extra push.
And you don't know enough to see that yet.
Exactly, because you don't have the experience. I mean,
Right.
you don't see it because for you it's nothing at the moment. I mean, you might have that talent, but you're not able to see it, But someone else sees it, and then
And they bring it
he
out.
realizes that you're not seeing it, So you need that extra push to get to the place that he sees or foresees.
I saw it a lot growing up. I played a lot of sports. I saw it a lot in sports where, the super strict dad, and it's funny because I'd never seen it that way. The difference between the kid that ended up growing to hate it, even though if he was good or not.
Exactly.
Right? And the one that
actually appreciates it.
I'll give you a perfect example. Baseball. Look, I just get goosebumps. I just thought of two different humans, and I won't say their names. They both went to middle school with me. I knew them both from early, Pascual days and different academies. And one had a dad that was like, both dads were super strict. One was a little more Cuban and in your face. The other one was a little more traditional, but also very strict. And one of them, they were both amazing, by the way. Probably two of the better kids that I grew up playing baseball with. And at that early age, oh, you guys are making it to the major leagues. Like you're the best ones here. You're
There's no way.
There's no way you don't, right? And the way that you're being kind of like where I'm showing up to have fun and play, you're showing up like this is the World Series and you're in the major leagues already because of the way that your parents are kind of holding you to that.
Exactly.
The discipline behind the practicing and when they would make a mistake, it was the end of the world. And so
with actual repercussions.
Right. And so you kind of see the trajectory. And then years later, you'll plan out one completely hates the sport now and won't even watch it on TV, and he quit
Wow.
and never, wanted to do anything with it.
Wow.
And the other one did make it to the major leagues and played 12 years in the major leagues, right? So like
And it's
this guy loves the sport.
And the
To
other one,
this day,
so it's
To this day,
opposite.
he owns, a batting facility, and he helps people, with batting, and then he stays attached. This guy won't even talk to you about a strike or a ball. He wants
Wow.
nothing to do with baseball. So I had never, seen it that way, and it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because I actually saw it, because in Cuba, obviously, getting to a music school was not an easy thing, because it was by talent. It was not that you just paid for it like an inscription and then you
Right.
pay monthly. It didn't work that way. So you had to go through a process, an audition, then you
Wow.
have to get accepted. I remember kids coming out of the room crying because they got 99 out of
Oh my
100.
goodness.
Because that point might be their entrance to the school. Because what happens if they have
Talk
only
about
like
pressure.
10 spots
Yeah.
and then you have 11 kids with 100? What do?
Yeah.
The one that got 99
Is
it's
out.
already out.
Wow. Well, that's good though, because it raises the standard too,
It
right?
was like mind blowing. I remember being like a 9, 10-year-old boy and having to practice for 3, 4 hours each day just to get to the minimum level of acceptance.
To have a chance.
I mean, to not get kicked out by your teacher. I was kicked out once or twice.
Right.
Because I was like making the same mistake that happened last week.
Oh wow.
So you're supposed to fix that.
And I'm gonna guess there's not a lot of schools, I'm guessing, right?
In Cuba, there's like 4
Okay.
conservatories.
For the whole island.
Yeah. No, in Havana.
Okay.
There's like maybe 2 more in Santiago. I don't know much about that specific area of
Got it.
education in
But
Cuba.
where you
But
were,
yeah,
where you were at
in the
those
Havana,
4.
in Havana, yeah. There was like 4 major at my level.
Right.
And then the next level, which will be the university for music, which would be there was 2
Okay.
that I think of. So it's like,
Slims it down
exactly.
and more and
so
more.
it was very tight.
Very
And the
competitive.
competition was like,
Did that make you better, you think?
I think so.
For sure,
Absolutely.
right? You had to raise the standard.
In some way, I'm sorry, you're defined by your environment.
100%. In a lot of ways.
Even though if you fight it, maybe you're in an environment that you're not comfortable with and you want to get out of that. But you cannot do it right now. In some way, what makes you more depressed or frustrated is the fact that it's affecting you. And you cannot do anything about it at the moment. So the stress is double. Because now your environment is affecting you. Obviously, it's what you see, what you smell, what you eat, the people you talk to.
Right.
The information that you get from all your senses is something that you don't like. And you want to get out of there. But it's affecting you, and you cannot do anything about that. So it happens the same thing in a positive environment. When it's a competition and you have to get 100 all the time. Of course, it will make you better in some way, even though if you reject it or you fight against it.
And you may be in that moment, but then later on,
because kids will always be rebels. We will always have that period in our lives that we rebel. We don't want to do that. It might make sense or not. I don't care. It's just the fact that I need to fight it because I need to have that experience in my life. How would it feel to fight the norm, to fight the standards? That's why, and I don't want to get political, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, 100%.
That's why at certain age, you think certain way, and then when you grow up, you shift a certain way.
I'm also big on, at a certain age, you think you know stuff. And the older you get, you realize you actually don't know anything.
Exactly.
And now you want to continue to learn.
Exactly.
And you reopen this wheel.
Exactly.
When it comes to learning, you mentioned, I think you were a musician first and then a music producer.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? So you learn the instruments, you learn the sounds. And then you learned how to kind of put it all together.
Music.
Right?
Absolutely.
What about when it comes to work-wise? Were you producing music and releasing music, making money from it, touring first, or were you a musician getting paid to be a musician, a live musician?
Great question. Yeah, I started as a musician, and then I was a professional musician. I mean, I was getting paid
Got it.
by just playing the piano.
Okay.
Like I will get hired just to play the piano, and that's it. Then I started. I mean, my introduction to music production was an accidental thing.
Best kind.
Exactly, because I didn't know that I want to be a music producer until it was shown to me. Like, I need you to do this. And I was like,
what is this?
I don't know how to do it, but I would like to see what will happen if I try.
Very cool.
And that's how it just started, because I didn't know anything about music production. I had to learn.
This is in DR, Cuba, Miami?
In DR. Okay. DR. Yeah. I started music production in the Dominican Republic, for sure. My first studios are there. The first producers I ever spoke to are Dominicans. My music production career started in the Dominican Republic, 100%.
Would you say that island influence is in your sound today?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Because when I grew up in the DR, I was not a regular common Dominican.
Okay.
I was an immigrant.
Okay.
I was taken from one environment to another. Very similar, but different.
Okay.
I loved it, obviously, at first. It was like, I don't know. Whoever is an immigrant knows what I'm talking about. When you move to something and then you see the actual movie for the first time, that's what I felt when I first landed in Santo Domingo.
And did you have people to open doors? Or
yeah. Actually, we had people that actually took us in.
Very nice.
Me, my mother, my brother, and then my mom started working 3 jobs. In 3 months, we was out.
No way.
She rented a super small apartment for the 3 of us, and she worked from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. every single day of the week.
Wow.
Just to support me and my brother. And then she rented a bigger apartment, so we had our room. She had her separate room.
Nice. And how does the transition happen then from DR to Miami?
No, because when I came to Miami, I was an adult.
Okay.
I grew up in the DR.
Okay.
So when I came here, it happened again. I saw the move because I'm a double immigrant.
That's what I wanted to get at, and also to compare the challenges, right? Over there, you're younger and you're still absorbing.
Yes.
Now you come as an adult over here. What are some of those challenges in the music industry? You getting to Miami, still knowing what you want to do, but like, how do you do it? Yeah. How did you kind of overcome those challenges, and what did they look like?
Being new.
Yep.
Is the first one. Listening to new things.
Okay.
Adapting to new standards. Knowing the business. Because I think that when you're outside of Miami in the music business industry, you have a delay. All the information and all the vibes are late.
Okay.
A little late, because a lot of things are happening here now. It wasn't like that maybe 15 years ago, 10 years ago.
Where was the starting place 15 years ago, you would say?
I didn't know anyone.
Okay.
So when I came to Miami, I started playing piano. And then I remember that someone would call me, like the word was like spreading little by little, that I would produce, that I was good, that I had like weird sounds, that my mind was open, because that was what I was going to tell you. I didn't grow up listening to merengue, bachata, and all that.
Okay.
I grew up listening to rock music.
Okay. Sting.
So I kept that. So I was involved into the rock movement in the Dominican Republic. I had a rock band. We would make concerts. I had 2 songs on the radio. On the radio, that
That's
local
sick.
radios.
Yeah.
And actually number 1 on both. Both songs. So, and I think that, but also the environment, merengue, bachata, reggaeton,
made it more diverse.
Obviously, you're listening to it. And like I said before, the environment somehow affects you. So I understand perfectly all those genres. I play merengue, I play bachata. I actually used to play with a bachatero
Okay.
in the DR. I produced bachata, and I love it. But I grew up listening to rock music, so I will go to rock concerts. That's what I will consume in my house. But obviously, when you go out and you go to a club,
You hear everything else.
you have to learn how to. I didn't know how to dance merengue, because in Cuba you dance different, different. I remember my friends making fun of me, like, what are you doing? You don't dance like that. And they actually taught me how to dance like a Dominican, So when I dance, people think that I'm Dominican, because I grew up there. You know what I mean?
Have you found a way to blend all this in?
Absolutely.
Is this
Absolutely.
now and
Absolutely.
so did you come to Miami already Edgar on the Beat? Or
No.
did Edgar on the Beat get made
was
here?
born here. Absolutely.
Okay. And would you say that Edgar on the Beat project is the blend of all these sounds, cultures, and
1,000
decades of different environmental influences?
Absolutely. No doubt about it.
And would this be, I guess, maybe a strong suit now, right? Where before it might be a weakness that you had all this different stuff, and now
I wouldn't say a weakness. I don't think it never actually was a weakness, because when you have knowledge, it doesn't matter what kind of knowledge it is. It's power somehow if you know how to use it.
Sure.
So as much knowledge as you can gather and understand, not just carry it, as a gossip or whatever, but actually do something with it.
Yeah, apply it.
Apply it. I think it will get you to certain stage in your personal growth and professional and personal.
Absolutely. So how does Edgar on the Beat come about? You're in
It
Miami,
happened by
you're
accident.
doing your thing.
It happened by accident.
another strategic accident.
I was producing this artist. We're not working together anymore, and she used that as a tag in one song.
Okay.
And I liked it, and she said, I remember we were recording at her house, and she said, "Oh, you can delete that."
No, I think I won't.
Let's do it again. I said, no, I like that. Actually, let's do it again, And I kept it. And since that day, I just changed everything to that name, It
Nice.
was like, I loved it. It was boom, right there.
It's a name, but it's also a catchphrase in one.
Exactly.
Right? Like it kind of explains the concept behind it all.
Actually, I've had problems with it because the way I write it, is very specific.
Yeah.
Each word, they're all together, but each word has a cap.
Right.
It's
the first letter is capitalized.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So not many people write it that way. So it split sheets, like everywhere. People write it different.
Does that mess up your credits or things at all? Or no?
No.
Okay, so
it's just the credits. It's not like the actual official documentation.
Got it.
Everything is done under your actual name.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. All right, so we'll dive into a little bit of the business, which I want to get your insight, and I'm sure a lot of musicians may know the art, but not the business.
You nailed that.
That's a big reason of why
I was a victim.
That was me, guilty. For those new artists listening, let's say right now, what are some tips you would give them on not the business side yet, but as an artist that's developing? What are a couple tips that really, helped you that you think you could pay forward?
The most important thing that I would say is, I know that everybody says the same thing, but it's so important, and I didn't believe it at first. You have to believe in yourself.
Okay.
You have to believe in yourself.
Do you think people are too reliant on other people helping and
I think there's many problems, especially with artists that actually create art. Sometimes when you create art, sometimes no. All the time. You get judged by your art.
Sure.
To a circle of people, which are the actual people that are listening to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're exposed to their opinion.
Okay.
Right? Is this good art? And that circle say, no. That's not good. What will you do? Will you stop doing art?
I see.
Or will you change your environment and offer your art to other people?
Or worse, change your art based on their opinion, and now it's not
or change your art based on their opinion.
Hmm.
So that's a crossroad, actually, the three-way road.
Right.
That every artist need to actually make a decision.
And what's the best route you would say?
Believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself and
Believe in your art. Believe it. Obviously, craft it. Listen to advice. Things that are logical to you, that make sense. Be very critical with your art. Try always to see it like someone else is showing it to you.
Okay.
That critical. Like, be the worst with yourself, critical wise. Like, super strict.
So get extremely good at your craft.
Always.
Right?
Always
understand that
best.
you can be better.
Try to be the best and always compete against yourself. Be better than yourself. Your best friend and worst enemy is yourself.
Yes.
You're competing against yourself. You have to be better than yourself. Not the next guy. Yourself. Because that's the only measurement that you have. Because that's the only thing that you actually know. Because you don't know what's happening to that guy, or what exactly got him where he is.
To there, right.
So the only benchmark that you have is yourself. So yourself is 2, you have to be 3. And then yourself is 3, you have to be 4.
And always be working on
And that's the
getting
only
better.
way that you will make actual progress. Because if you start chasing ghosts, like, I want to be better than
chasing ghosts.
I want to be better than, I don't know, Timbaland or Saint Quincy Jones or Tiny, any big names in music production, Pharrell, anyone. You don't know where Pharrell is, It might be a billion years from you.
Right.
Light years,
right. And now you're not taking the right steps to get to.
So you get frustrated. You try to compete against him, which you actually don't know what got him there or where exactly he is at. Because it's an image. It's something that they're showing you. Like, you see on TV, you listen to the music, You don't know the guy, actually. You don't know who he is. You don't know? So how are you going to compete against something that you don't know? Better way, compete against yourself. And by doing that, you will see what actually got you to the next level, because of the opinion of those people that told you no. They're turning their heads. Changing. And that's when you know that you're making progress.
Yeah.
Because people start saying different things about you. But that will only happen if you believe in yourself, because that's the basic fuel to keep you pushing against walls and people saying no, and doubting against yourself, like, about yourself. Like, am I good enough? Actually, like,
are they right?
Are they right?
Right.
Am I right? So to avoid all that, just believe in yourself and compete against yourself. Forget about everything else.
So listen to what they're saying, but don't let it affect
as an
your
advice.
trajectory.
If it makes sense, people know.
Sure.
Everybody knows. When you're alone, in your room with nobody
you're
else,
just thinking,
and you say, "Can I curse here?" No.
Yeah.
For real? Okay. And you say, "This motherfucker, right?"
Yeah, right.
I
didn't like hearing it, but
I don't want to think about it ever again. But I know he's right.
Yeah.
Now the smart move is, let's shift it.
Right.
I will never give him credit.
Right.
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 But let's be smart. Even though if it affects our ego. Because ego might be your friend, but if it's bigger than you, then it's your enemy. You can never let your ego be bigger, stronger, smarter than you. Never. You have to have control. Because
Absolutely.
when it grows like out of control, then it controls you. And that's bad. And that happens to a lot of artists.
I've seen it. I've seen it. Why do you think specifically artists, right? Like,
I understand it.
Yeah.
Because it's something that comes to you that up to that point, it was just fiction. You see this guy in a Ferrari, this other guy on a private plane, and all the chain, and all the cash, and all
the lifestyle,
everything else. You know what I mean?
Lifestyle.
And you say, it looks amazing, but to me, that's like an alien ship. I don't know what that's about, unless I've had flashes like being at that kind of after party,
Right.
and you see it, but you're not an actual part of it. You're just a
A
crowd,
spectator.
spectator, you're just part of the crowd, extra, you know? Even though you might be at the VIP, you know that you don't belong there,
Right.
you know? You're a guest.
And
You know
what?
what I mean?
Then does that feed into the ego, and now you start believing that maybe you are a part of
When
the
you
VIP?
actually see a lot of people saying your name, following you, singing your songs, it affects you at some point that you have to have a very strong willpower, to just control that thought of, am I an actual God?
Hmm. Am I great at what
Am
I'm
I
doing?
better? Am I actually better than everyone else? Like I'm a different species. Maybe I'm not even human. Because it's something that you don't have control. Just by showing up, people go crazy. That's a superpower.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's a superpower. So it takes a lot of energy to control that, and having obviously the right crowd around you,
To keep you
your
balanced.
actual crew, the crew that actually takes care of you. Like they
Yeah.
want the best for you, not a lot of vultures. And I've seen it like many times.
Yeah. That's very common.
I just like in the surroundings,
While
like,
you're
hey,
hot,
taking
and the day you're not,
pictures,
you can't see them.
okay, call me, and then you see like, and you see, yeah, the reaction of the artist,
Right.
but they're there taking pictures, and living the movie. They're not part of it. And when you get that as an artist, it doesn't matter what genre. It doesn't matter if it's music, if it's painting, acting, dancing, anything, like movie director. When you become a celebrity and you have that power that people like pay money just to have a piece of you in your brain, something shifts. And you have to control that shift, because if it shifts too much, then your ego is out of control. And then you see what happens
Right.
when that happens.
Yeah. Then it goes the other way.
Then you go to jail, and then scandals here, and maybe
Yeah.
suicide.
You think you're untouchable.
And
You
then
think you're untouchable.
you get to a point that you think that you don't belong anywhere, and then you kill yourself.
Yeah.
So you have to control it, because it's something wild. I mean, it's unimaginable being at that level. And I'm not talking about money. It's not about that. It's about the experience, the actual experience of knowing that people are dying for you. That people will do anything just to be near you,
Or to work with you.
or to be near you. It doesn't matter if it's to work, just to smell you, to touch you. You know, because having that reaction on people is not normal.
Right.
So
Right.
you're not normal.
Right.
So you have to control that feeling, because then you're out of the norm, and then people will hate you in real life. And then
Yeah. You
I
can't
don't
be
like
around
that.
them.
I don't like. You can be around that guy. How you doing? Hey, let's take a picture. Because you have to leave the movie. But
Right.
they know, because they are human beings. They know who's who. So they become distrust of everybody, because I don't know why you're here. I don't know if you actually like me, or you just want a piece of me.
And that can play with your
Drive you
psychological.
crazy. I've had a lot of deep conversations with big artists, like very famous people. So I know what I'm saying.
And then this is a common, not feeling, but a common situation, I guess, that you've seen.
It's a reality.
Right.
So it depends on the artist how to confront that reality. But
Mm.
when you're there, you're there. It's like going to the moon. You have to be ready.
You don't know what you're gonna see.
You don't know. You things that you know. There's no air.
Sure.
So you better get something.
Right.
An oxygen tank. I don't know.
Right.
Second, there's no pressure. So get a suit.
Yeah.
Third, you cannot go there walking. So better get a chip. So things get complicated. You know what I mean? So you have to be ready, because you're going to the moon tomorrow. You're not ready. They throw you into the moon naked, and then you die.
Yeah. Because you didn't prepare.
The artist, he's like a drug addict. He shot himself in the head.
Yeah.
You don't know what happened. That what happened was that, because you were not ready.
Yeah. Not being prepared and forced to be on the moon.
Exactly.
Love that.
Because of your art took you there.
Love
So
that.
then you see bad contracts, and.
We'll dive into that.
Yeah.
So before we move into, I'm going to transition into more of the music production and maybe some of your experiences, right? These bigger people you've worked with, studio sessions, goods and bads. But before I do that, first of all, that was an amazing tip, right? You got to believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself, man.
And don't let anything kind of steer you from that first plan, which is believe in yourself and what you think is good.
And be very critical.
Be critical on yourself. Also be open to criticism from others.
Absolutely.
But don't let it steer the ship. At the end of the day, it's your ship. So that was a tip. For that same person that might be a new artist or an aspiring artist, what are some opportunities that exist? And where my head goes is like clubs that maybe people can be a part of. I don't know, social circles, networking events, I just moved from the DR to Miami.
Mhm.
What can I do to advance my musical career? And what did you find out along the way that you wish you would have known day one?
First thing, obviously, keep working on your craft.
Sure.
The best way to start from like nothing, I will say, is YouTube.
Okay.
Absolutely. There's a lot of good information there. There's a lot of bad information there, but it's information.
Sure.
So you will know, you'll get to a certain point that you will know which one's good and which one's bad. So there's no problem to get some bad tips because you know that they don't work. So you will move from there. As simple as that. So don't be afraid of getting wrong. I'm sorry, information.
Okay.
Because if you're actually into this, you'll find out what's good and what's not good. If you actually apply what you're learning. Because obviously when there's something when something tells you, oh, you do this to get this, and then you listen to that product, and that's bad.
Yeah, that's not
Then scratch that and move into,
find good and then keep going deeper in the good.
Then when you actually are good enough, you will know when you're good enough, show it to people.
Okay.
Show your work. Don't be afraid. Believe in yourself. You maybe it's not at the point that you will say you're going to win a Grammy, obviously, because you're learning. You have to accept that. A lot of people don't accept that. And that's a problem. And that might be another tip. A lot of people don't accept that they need help. Everybody needs help. Everybody, all the time. 24 hours, we need help. All the time. With something.
And most of the time, it's learning something that you don't know.
You might need help with your money. You might need help with your health. You might be needing help because of something that you don't know how to do. You might need help with your passport. We always need help. Sometimes we don't accept that because of our ego.
Sure.
It's a full circle, So,
and I can see how I can drive you insane.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But when you accept that you need help, and then you're open to receive that information, is when you actually elevate.
Yeah.
Because you know that you might not be the best baseball player, for example. Then you need help.
Right.
Hey, how can I swim better? And then you do the work, obviously. That's your merit. Some people think that they need to take the merit of finding out what I need. Oh, I know what I need. That's it. That's more than enough to fix my problem because I know what I need. I know I can do it by myself. That's ego. Might be true, but it will be way better to have a team with you, helping you out.
Sure. and way quicker.
It's what smart people do. I mean, you don't start anything by yourself. You see a group of trust people that have like-minded way of thinking, and you start a project. You might be the head of it. You might be the creator. You might be the original mother,
right?
But they help. The nurse that actually took the baby. The doctor that actually checked the baby. They help. It's your baby, but they're helping.
Damn,
you need
crazy.
them.
Okay.
You need them. You need a team always. You always need help with something. Always. Whatever it is, your car. You're not a mechanic. You need help. That's why you pay. It's for the help of other people to make your life better. And some people don't accept that. They know it's true, but they don't accept it because they need to control their ego.
What's the best way to do that?
Just accepting it.
but let's say you're already down the rabbit hole that you can't accept. Like that you haven't accepted.
you will accept that at some point because
Yeah.
you'll crash against the same wall so many times that you will want to fix that before you die because it's like something some like a thorn in your side, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like something that bothers you,
You
you know,
finally take it out, it feels
and you finally are, you can sleep like a baby, you know.
you
There's
can
no
breathe again.
stress,
You can breathe again.
and you can actually control stress better. The outside stress of the rest of the world will be controlled better because your own struggle is fixed. Everybody's
Mm.
struggling with both the outside world and the inside world. It's like always you're struggling with yourself and struggling with what others are doing to your life. You know, so it will be better if you fix yourself and then you can control everything else. It becomes like a game, you know, because you know what you need to do because you fix yourself. So you know that this person needs help. That's why he's talking to you that way.
And you're willing to be part of that.
That's why people get involved into road rages.
I don't have any road rage.
You know, because
I
they need to solve their own struggle because when you understand that person doesn't know you, he doesn't know who you are. It's not personal. He didn't want to do that to you specifically. You know, he just did it because he's an asshole, maybe,
Sure.
but it wasn't to you. Do you want to make him a better person? Do you want him not to be an asshole? Is that your project in life? Of course not. You don't know who he is. Then let him be an asshole. Don't be the person that tries to correct him because that's not your work. And it wasn't personal.
I think something that has always made me understand you as a human, an artist
absolutely.
human, is your way of putting things in a more rational way. Where I've had this exact conversation with creatives, maybe not artists, but creatives, right? Which is artists.
Yeah, it's art, obviously.
And it's never been explained in a way where it's rational enough to understand from that light of just like seeing it in the sense because I've heard before, you got to look at it from their lens, but I don't know them, so how can I look at their lens?
Exactly my
Or
point.
what does it matter? It doesn't affect you, but it does affect because he's X, Y, and Z. But you have a funny way of putting artistic thoughts into regular words, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
know?
I mean, I always try to be with everybody like I will be treated, you know?
Okay.
So I always like people to be very specific with things. So I try to do the same thing because I want my message needs to be understood, you know? Like so I try to make my best to explain it in some way that I know everybody's going to get what I'm trying to say.
If I get it, everybody just got it because I am the furthest away from the artistic mindset approach. I'm very black and white, rational. Things have to make sense.
But that's
if it doesn't
rational.
make sense, rah.
That's rational because think about it. Think about it. It's very rational because if you put things, for example, everybody should know how much your day is worth.
Okay.
Okay, everybody should know that. My 24-hour, how much am I worth for 24 hours of my talent, of whatever it is that I do? How much is that worth? You know, me as a professional, me as a survivor.
Yeah, as a human.
As a human being. How much is my time worth? So you decide how much time is worth sleeping, how much time is worth Instagram, how much time is worth actually doing work, you know? Some people make their entire 24-hour profitable with just 1 hour actual work. 1 or 2 hours of actual intense mind, 100% in doing this thing. 2 or 3 hours. A lot of people can do that if you train your mind to do so. Because the rest, you might be working towards it, but it's not like deep into it.
Yeah, it's indirect.
It's those coffee breaks, like those, let me browse a little bit of those breaks. Every time that you break, you have to reset somehow. You have to reconnect to what we were doing. It's not the same as doing it for 8 hours. Nobody work at that level. It will destroy your brain.
Right.
You have to take short breaks, like let's cool down and and throughout the day, you distribute like the regular 8 hour that people work.
Right.
You know what I mean? But a lot of people don't need to work that much when you actually create something. when you're in the creative side. You don't have to work that much. So a lot of artists, just while writing a song in 15 minutes, would make millions.
Mm. Yeah, but it's also all the work to get you to be able to do that in 15 minutes. That's what I also
Exactly.
hear very often.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So the more you know yourself, going back to that place, the more you can control that. So you say, okay, I can go to the beach. I can play whatever it is that I play, baseball, tennis,
Guitar,
I can like
anything.
go to my house and maybe write a song now that I feel inspired or whatever, and I'll just leave it there.
And then
No
come
pressure.
back to it here.
No
Come back
pressure.
to it
Then I
there.
make another song. If I'm inspired, I'm gonna make like 3 more, and then I go to bed or whatever. So the actual moment of creating money, it might be like 2 hours.
Yeah, but everything else matters to be able
Everything
to
matters.
do that.
Exactly. It's part of your life. It's where you're actually doing everything. It's you. What makes you you.
All right, so let's talk about these experiences that have gotten you to be somewhat wise in what you're saying right now, because it's clear that it makes sense. So we went from young kid surrounded by music, from family inspirations to community that you were in,
Mm-hmm.
multiple different areas of living, right? 3 countries over
Yes.
the short lifespan that you've been so far. We went from someone to play the piano, someone that learned music production, Edgar on the beat. And now we're working not in a friend's studio at her house. Now we're working, I'm assuming, in some big boy studios, right? With some big boy names.
Definitely.
Right? Yeah. We'll start off by kind of opening up this chapter. What's a memorable studio session that stands out in your career? And not the best, not the funniest. I'm going to dive into some of those categories, but what's the most memorable? Because normally the most memorable means something, right? So what's the most memorable and why is it the most memorable? What did it mean to you?
The most memorable. I have a couple.
Hit me.
I have a couple. I would say the first time I recorded Oscar de Leon.
Okay.
That was one. The first time I recorded Willie Chirino.
Okay. It's huge.
And it was for different things.
Hit me.
The one with Willie Chirino, obviously, I grew up listening to his music, like every Cuban.
Right.
So what he represents in general, and being such a nice guy like he is, like it was mind blowing for me. And his way of recording was something that I learned with him. So that stood out because it was
like
Willie
learning.
Chirino. Obviously, I like learning, and this guy is actually teaching me something.
Yes.
So that's something that I cherish a lot. And with Oscar de Leon, the same thing. Super nice guy. Super nice guy. Well, actually, I have a picture with them both. And he said, "I really like what you're doing. I really like that."
And you're like, really?
It was like, yeah, it was like a nice compliment from someone who has worked with many people, many, countless, like great big names, to like actually telling you that he didn't have to do that, what I
Right.
mean? So
Yeah, even if he thought it didn't have to come
he
out.
have to actually go out and tell other people,
Right.
after it. So it was something very nice to experience,
Going back to studio sessions, like I said, I'm very black and white and OCD to a certain extent.
Me too. That's why we understand each other.
We speak the same language. Who is the most organized artist you've worked with? Because
wow,
I'm guessing that's important, right?
Yeah,
when you get to a serious level.
That's one of the best questions someone has ever asked me.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah, because I try to tell so many people, it's so important discipline, because artists are like la loquera, bro,
free,
bro. We live in a society. You want to make money? You didn't invent money. Someone else did it, and everybody's following that rule. If you want to be here, you have to do certain things. I mean, you can be in the edge.
Sure.
That's why we're paying you
Sure.
to show us what's the next expansion of our vision.
Spread the boundary.
Exactly. That's what artists do. They expand. They go to the unknown. They try new things. That's what we're paying you for. Not to go away and nobody can see your light. Nobody can see you. Where are you?
Right.
Who is that guy? Who is that crazy guy?
Right.
That's not my artist. Who is that? You know what I mean?
100%.
Don't go there, but be on the edge. Cool. But being organized, bro, as an artist is one of the toughest things that you can ever imagine. What a good artist do is have a good team. So if that's what you are referring to as a team, the most organized artist. Wow.
Yeah, because just like anything, if you knew you couldn't play the trumpet well, you would get someone on your team that is great at the trumpet, right? So organization to me is a tool. You either have it or you don't. And if you don't...
I would say Jay Wheeler.
Jay Wheeler.
Sí.
Okay.
Sí, porque Jay Wheeler, he works with Golden Hour.
Okay.
Gabby Hill, one of my good friends, is a great production manager.
And that's a production manager, so not really anybody producing.
No. He's the production manager, and he's the one that takes care of everything. Of whatever the artist in the show. You know what I mean? Like production-wise.
Right.
Dancers, lights, sound, rehearsals, music, everything that makes the show happen. He designs the shows, everything. So that organization I've only experienced with him and Wheeler, obviously.
Right. Then goes off to it.
He works also with Becky G, so it's the same team. So, but I've worked more with Wheeler. So.
And you said Golden
Hour.
Yeah,
that's
very
his
interesting.
Company. Yeah,
very interesting. Okay,
amazing.
Now, last memorable question. Or studio session type of approach, experience-wise. Who's your least favorite artist? You don't have to say the name, but maybe why was it your least favorite?
I wouldn't say his name, but he knows.
Okay.
Because some people do bad things and they expect no repercussions.
Sure.
And they will create whatever justifications in their heads just to justify. They will create whatever fantasy needs to be created.
Going back to ego, right?
Exactly. Because the ego is absolutely out of control. Out of control. When you get to a point that you start being disrespectful and taking credit, changing split sheets, like you don't do that, because that shows that you are not a good person because of the thought process, not even the action.
What got you there?
What kind of a person does this? It's not the fact that you did it. For example, I will never trust someone that steals a pencil just for the fact of stealing it.
Right.
Like, I'm going to take it.
Because I can.
Because I can.
Right.
It's just a pencil. Yeah,
what else? Nothing. What else will you take then?
It's nothing. Yeah. Because for you, worth nothing because of your way of thinking. But maybe for me, $1 million is nothing. So I'll take it. Because it's nothing. I want billions. 1 million, that's nothing. One car, that's nothing. One pencil, that's nothing. It's the thought process that bothers me. It's not the fact that you're taking the pencil. I don't care about the pencil. It's the fact that you went down that road, that feeling the rush of taking it, not being caught. Wow, I went my way. That's ego. That's not a person. That's the ego. It made me feel good. Nobody saw it. I took it because I could.
So in this situation, what did this person do?
All the above.
Stole the pencil, changed the split sheets.
Everything.
Nice.
And he got to a point of even actual threats. Like, what did I do?
Took yourself out of the situation.
This guy is crazy.
Yeah.
This guy is crazy. Why would I fight a dog? Why would I start biting a dog? That's why people avoid dogs. It's not because they are actually afraid. I mean, maybe some people are actually afraid of dogs, but like...
Or getting bit by a dog really is what they're afraid of.
Yeah, but getting bit by a dog, but it's not the actual way of thinking that this dog's going to kill me.
Mm.
You know, because you might be afraid of a Chihuahua biting you.
Right.
You know, like you want to avoid that situation. It's a Chihuahua. You know, you might kick it, and you might actually kill it.
Right.
You know,
It needs to be more scared of you.
But we are the thinking brain here. You know, like why would I kill a fucking dog?
Right.
You
Why
know,
would I
like,
put myself in the room for him
I
to
just
attack me?
I would just avoid that situation. You know what I mean? Like, hey, control that dog. You know, maybe I'll go up. I'll look like silly or whatever. I'll look like an idiot. But I would prefer that than fighting a dog.
Correct.
So it's the same situation. Why would I waste my time with someone that I don't? It's like it never existed. You know what I mean? It doesn't affect me at all. It doesn't happen. It didn't happen. You know what I mean?
Mm.
That's the damage.
No, it happened. Now you know not to do anything
Exactly.
with that person. Good thing it happened now.
You show me,
Yes.
you know, who you really are. So now I know who to put you.
Nice.
You were here, now you're here.
Nice.
You selected that. I didn't do it.
you put yourself there.
You decided to move out. You know?
And thank you, by the way,
Yeah,
because
thank
now,
you, obviously. But that's not
yeah.
the first time that happened to me. That's going to happen a lot of times because in this industry, like I said, ego will drive people crazy.
Mm.
They might look normal, but again, you don't know what's happening inside that head. You only know what's happening inside your head.
Yes.
And that's it. Everything else is just information that you receive from other people.
Yeah. Input and output.
Input and output. But what you actually know is what's inside your own skull.
That's crazy. So
and I've seen it. People going crazy, bro. Crazy. Like, what are you doing? You know? Do you know who you're talking to? You know what you're actually doing? You know, that's your mother. You know what I mean? Like, you go like, what?
What got you here?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. So I'm gonna stick on studio sessions, but now maybe bring in some artistical Edgar on the beat to these, right? You're big on collaborating, things like FIU, but we'll talk about that later. In this case, collaborating, let's say, with artists, right? Again, an artist approach, but I think you'll be able to explain this in the right way. So how do you go about making sure that your artistic vision comes to life, but still also setting up a healthy collaboration, right? Because I can see if two artists have a vision, how do you make it one vision?
That's a great question. It's difficult sometimes when you don't click with the artist.
Okay.
It doesn't have to happen right away. A lot of people think that it happens right away, that is magical. Not everything in life happens that way.
It's a fairy tale.
Not even with maybe your significant other.
Correct.
To me, it did happen that way, but for some people, it grew over time.
Right.
It happens because people shift. People don't change, but they can shift a little bit. You know, we vibrate, so we shift. We're shifting things. Our skin is not the same that it was 1 month ago.
Right.
So we are an entire
hair's not the same.
Exactly. Everything's not the same. You know, everything changes. You know, you're not the same since the day you were born up to the day you die. You're not the same ever. Not for a split second. We're always changing, always changing, for the good or for the bad.
Sure.
But we're changing. We don't stay static. Nothing in this universe stays static. So we always change, right?
Crazy.
So something can grow. Something can grow over time. That happens with artists too. Sometimes you don't click at first, but you have to be professional.
Okay.
Know? So you have to take what it's that I can do with what I'm being offered right now. You know, so you put it on a weight. You know, like,
okay,
is it worth it? The suffering that is going to produce this on me, working with something that I don't like, or I'll get like some good credits or some like a better position in my career, you know, whatever it is, better splits, better money, whatever. Which one weighs more, you know? I'm not gonna do the 6-7 thing. I know that's a thing.
I was at the Heat game the other day, and it was one of these like a bunch of schools brought kids, and there was so many kids in the arena. And M. Dot played the 6-7 song, and I honestly didn't know where I was.
Bro,
I was freaking out.
I'm telling you this because I'm teaching, so
So
It's mind blowing. So yeah, the thing is, you put that thing on a weight.
hold on, I have to say it. For everyone out there that's going through, you're teaching, right? Paul and I I do the alumni podcast for my high school.
Oh,
And we did
nice.
one on campus, and I saw one of my old PE coaches. And PE, you could imagine when you stretch or when you do anything, you count
Claro.
5, 6, 7,
Seven.
and then the whole place goes ape
Yeah,
shit.
they'll go crazy.
So they have figured out now they're counting backwards. 10, 9,
Oh
8
my
to avoid the 6, 7
God.
mayhem that is happening in
No,
classrooms.
no,
So
no. This is mind
if you
blowing.
ever have counting situations when you're
It happens to
teaching,
me every single
count
day.
backwards. We've
I have
solved
to,
the
I have to
problem.
say 6, 7 at least 6 times each day.
Just so you go 7, 6 now. Just go backwards. It's gonna solve all problems.
That's a nice solution to
So,
it because it's a
not to
problem.
cut you off, but
Yeah. No,
I
but
was
that's important. We
it was
need to mention that.
inspiring when
Yeah,
I
we
heard
need
that.
Oh my God, these kids, bro. Well, the thing is that you put those things in a way, and then you make a decision. The one that will make you either learn or advance. But whatever it is that you decide, it will bring you an outcome.
Sure.
It is your work to what you do with that outcome. It was a bad outcome. I went to a session. The artist said that my beats sucked. That he didn't like any of my beats.
And he wants more of this, this, and this.
Or I was recording and the artist said that he didn't like how my voice was sounding on the headphones. You know, that there's the problem with the whatever it is. Oh, you're not using Pro Tools. You know, I don't want to record if it's not Pro Tools. Oh, you don't have this plugin. I don't want to do it. You know, there's like difficult artists. But when those kind of situations happen, it is your job to take control.
Okay.
Of the situation. If you're a professional, you know, you put on the weight again. Do you want to keep that artist? Do you want to have the actual experience? Maybe it's like a big artist, you know, and you had that shot and things are not working out, you know, and then the artist is complaining because maybe he's like high or whatever, you know, he's having a bad day, and then this kid here, he's having a problem with one of the cables, you know, and it's sounding weird, you know, whatever. Maybe he's a great producer, but things are not working out. It happens, you know, maybe the plugin is expired, you know, and then you have to buy it, and then you have to go online, you don't have the Wi-Fi. A lot of things can happen, you know, but it's your position of take command, because he doesn't have command. Whoever is complaining doesn't have command of anything, because if you have command, you will be complaining.
You'd be fixing it.
No, you wouldn't be complaining. Period. You will be doing something else because you are in command. Somebody else will be doing the complaining. This doesn't work. What are you gonna do? No, you're trying to fix it. You know that it doesn't work. You're fixing it.
Got it.
But you don't have time to complain. Whoever complains is not in control of that specific situation he's complaining about. Whoever it is, maybe he's trying to fix it, but at the time that he's complaining, his brain is not fixing anything, so he lost control of that situation. You know, maybe it happened fast, but it's happening. You're losing control, taking control, losing control, taking control. Just erase the losing control fact. Don't complain. You know, I know it relieves stress or whatever, but it creates a bad vibe. You know, and vibration is real. It's not magical things. You know, like things vibrate, because I know when I blow the speaker, it blows my head off. You know, so that's a vibration.
Right.
Things vibrate. Movement creates vibration. Vibration creates a movement. You know, so
the most important thing when you're collaborating is
you need
be
to take
professional.
control. Being professional
by taking
try
control.
to fix it. Always show that he's right. Try to fix it. Be professional. Give him what he wants. He's the artist. You're not the artist. You're the producer. You're the engineer at that specific moment. You might be an artist, but this is his moment.
In that room, you're
In that room, you were hired or you were called to do some specific thing. You know, you're not calling anybody. Somebody called you to be there. So you are not the main protagonist in that story. It's whoever else you're working with. Maybe an artist, another producer, an A&R, a manager. It's his spot. You might be great than him, better, worse. I don't know. I don't think worse, because nobody calls anybody that's worse.
Yeah, sure. You always want to level up.
Not even to give you a chance. Nobody will risk something so precious as his name for you. Not for you, for nobody, you know? He has to see something in you, something, I don't know what it is, to give you that shot. You know?
Right.
So use it wisely. You know, don't. That's not your moment to shine as an artist. Oh, what do you say? My beats are bad. I have beats with this guy and this guy and this guy, and I make these other beats with this guy. Whatever. My beats don't suck. Whatever. That's not the moment for that. You say, oh, you don't like my beats? Let's do something new. I have a friend. Let's call him. Let's collab with my friend. He makes dope beats. He might say, okay, let's do that. And he will like that because you're trying to fix the problem. It might not be a problem. He might be high and not listening well. He might be in another dimension. He's not in that specific vibe. Maybe he wanted to hear some Afro beats and you're showing trap beats.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, and then maybe you ask, well, if this sucks,
maybe
I
he
understand.
maybe
What
he
are you
does,
looking
maybe
for?
he doesn't understand those chords you're using. Maybe he didn't like those specific sounds that you selected. Maybe he doesn't like how you produce. That doesn't mean you suck. You suck for him. That's an opinion. You know, you suck for him. It might hurt your ego because there's someone less that likes you in the world. So that affects your ego, obviously. But you have to control it. You know? You have to control it because your ego is there to take those blows for you and don't actually affect you. That will change your life. You know? When you control it, okay, that's your opinion, and maybe I might need to get better.
Sure.
Let me listen to his music. Let me listen to the beats that he likes, his hits, and let me see what can I learn from it for him. That's being a professional. Because you can do better beats than that, maybe, or that you can get there if you understand that you need help. Everybody needs help,
And also, there's situations where you would know, I don't want to change for that person because the opportunity isn't big enough,
exactly.
and now we know
Maybe
we move on.
maybe it's not even worth it. Like you said, maybe it's just an artist that is paying for studio time, and you happen to be there, and somebody asks you, "Hey, can you record this guy? Maybe he sucks or whatever, but he wants to do it. I'll pay you whatever amount."
Right.
Okay, and you're seated there, and the guy's complaining, and he sucks, which makes it worse. And then you say, "Can I change the headphones?" Oh, sí, cámbialo. Ah, esto no sirve, esto no sirve. This is wrong, whatever. And then, okay, let me change. Okay, do you want me to call someone else? Oh, no, I don't have time for that. Then it's your position to see how far can you take that situation.
Yeah, and at a certain point you say, hey, this
isn't working. At a certain point,
you
have to say, okay, then I have to cancel the session, bro. Like no problem. But don't get into an argument, like confrontational, because people don't like that, and they know they're paying. Whatever it is, it's their time. They're paying for that.
Yeah.
You're working for them. So you cannot be confrontational like, oh, no, you're wrong. Everything's perfect. I don't know because I always record
it's
here.
you, it's not me.
It's you, not me. Don't go there. Even if it's true, because that's not professional. It's his moment. Make him at least feel good and remember you like the guy that tried to fix it. The guy that sucked, but that tried to fix it.
Sure.
Because he will maybe give you a chance again. And maybe he will be better and you'll be better too.
And it'll work out in a different project.
And then you'll find him again and you say, hey, this guy doesn't suck anymore. But you damage that relationship by being confrontational in the first place. It doesn't worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, bro.
That's great advice for anybody that is in those rooms and dealing with these type of things.
I've seen it countless times.
I could imagine.
People being kicked out of the studio. I mean, in the studio environment, you have to be extremely respectful because people are giving birth.
Sure.
People don't get that way, but people are actually giving birth. When you're trying to write a song, you're creating something out of nothing. That's the thought process. Okay, let's write. You might actually open YouTube and listen to beats on YouTube. You might open your computer and play beats on your computer, or you maybe have your phone and start playing beats on the phone, or maybe someone plays an instrument and you just start playing the guitar and random chords or whatever, or some idea that you had of this progression that I like.
This thing gets you to here, that gets you to here, that gets you to here.
Then you start creating something, you start cooking. That's why it's called like that. And then someone randomly opens the door. Rah! you kill it.
Brr.
You
Yeah,
kill it.
yeah, yeah.
That's like trying to create fire and then someone blows the
Yeah,
wind.
yeah.
Everybody will get mad at you.
Yeah, you're cooking a soup and all of a sudden you just throw the whole thing on the floor. You got to restart cooking.
Everybody's gonna get mad at you. You know, everybody's gonna get mad at you, even though they don't show it or say anything. Maybe say, "Hey,
Hey, I'm glad you're here.
you got to
Yeah, come bien.
come in. You're late. Come in."
Right.
Because even maybe you're part of that process. But if you see that that's happening, wait for the break because they will take a break. You will notice, and then on the break you enter, and then your entry will be welcome. That's what we needed. This guy wasn't here. Okay, let's try it. And then it happens because I've seen it. Because sometimes that's what it's needed
Yeah,
in sessions.
the salt was missing in the soup.
Exactly.
And
but
then the salt walked
don't
in.
break into it. Don't force that. So you have to be very pragmatic
Okay.
when you are in the studio. Even if you're not part of any sessions, but if you are in control of the studio, for example, and you see things happening, don't be entering rooms like looking for people or whatever it is that you're looking for. Just wait. Read the room. It's very important
Read the room.
because people get insulted sometimes, you know, because you're like, what are you doing
You're
here, bro?
interrupting the
What are you
flow
doing
state.
here? Get
Yeah,
out.
Yeah.
You know, get out. Ah, we're here, you know, vibing. Who brought you here?
Who are you
do?
vibing with?
What do you do? You know, who are you? Who are you? No, I came with this guy. Oh, both out.
Yeah.
You're both out.
Yeah, you're messing up the soup, man.
What the hell, bro? You're just drinking, smoking like a crazy person here. We're working, you know what I mean? So there's many different situations. You know, maybe an equipment broke down. You have to be able to fix it. You know, you have maybe a cable is actually not working.
Sure.
Maybe things are actually happening. You know, you have to take control and be always the thinking head in the room. Always, at least try to be the leader mentally. You know, having control. You know, so things can work the way you want to work. If you actually are producing, you know, if you actually want your name on that, you need to have certain control. You know,
And say.
and if we're producing music, and I'm the music producer, I have to have control. The smart way. I know it's his moment, but I have to control everything. That he feels good, but I control that. I want him to feel good, so I have to have control if I want that to happen. You know what I mean? So you have to have control of your situation. Every session, if you are the main producer, you have to have control. If your name is gonna be there, you have to have certain amount of control. You know, like make things happen for your own and everybody else's good.
There's a direct correlation here to business. If your name is attached to a business, you have to have certain controls of that business that you know are going to be able to put the right product attached to your brand and your name. And at the end of the day, so all right. So I have a follow up question to this, and it has to do with control. And as an artist, it's probably something that is a challenge in the creative process. And I'm sure that it's happened to you before. So I want to ask, you know, as an artist, how do you personally know when a beat is done? And is the beat ever done?
That's a great question.
Right? Like what came first, the chicken or the egg, right? Like what makes a beat done?
What makes a beat actually done, what in reality happens, it's when there's a consensus.
Okay.
That's when the actual beat's done. But in reality, it's never done. It's your decision. You know, because it's like spinning the wheel. You might here. If it sounds good enough for you, it's probably done because that's your job. You are the music producer. You know,
Okay.
it's your vision that you're trying to expose. It might not be the perfect vision for everybody. Maybe you might have some changes made, but it's your main creation, basically. So it's your art, some way. It's gonna be like make better sometimes, make worse sometimes.
Sure.
But it's a consensus to your opinion always, because again, everything comes to a point of zero, which is yourself. One, you know, your own conscience, your own perception of things, the world. It's just you seeing the rest, you know? So you are the spectator of your life, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You're seeing your own movie, basically.
Yeah,
But in
and
reality,
control of where the movie's gonna go.
exactly. But in reality, it's just you. Nobody else.
So a beat can be done.
It can, because in the end you have to have the professional vision that maybe those people are right, because that music that they envision, or that project that they envision, which involves everything, not just the music, maybe how the vocals were recorded, maybe the amount of effect, maybe the mix, maybe the master, maybe the sound selection, maybe the beat editing, maybe the structure of the beat might be off, because at the end it's your vision, and maybe they have a better vision of the business. What will actually make it a hit for these guys, not you. These guys. Sometimes you are part of these guys,
Okay.
but most of the time, not 100%, because it's you. Even if you try it, it wouldn't be 100% you. You know, you'll be part of the crowd.
Other pieces.
Exactly. There's always changes to be made. For example, you could take any major hit and remake it into a new hit.
And we've seen that plenty of times.
2 different beats, 2 different productions, and it's still both are hits.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And people say, it's because the song is good. Yeah. But it's also because both productions are great.
Right. And go with
the original
song.
And the remake, they're both hits. It doesn't matter what song is it. You know, sometimes it's that also, not just because the song is good. But they made the song 4 different versions and they're 4 hits, because they're 4 great productions.
Correct.
It doesn't matter if it's the different song. It was going to be a hit. You know, obviously attached to a song that is already a hit, you have 50% of the battle. But if you take a great song and you make a bad production, it won't be a hit.
And no one will listen to the remake.
It won't be a hit.
The hit will stay the hit, but
exactly.
The next one won't.
It won't be a hit because it's not a hit and it's the same song. So the song is not the only factor. You know, it's also the production. So 50% of that other version being a hit is also the production. And the fact that the song is already a hit.
Yeah, it comes with a little bit of momentum.
Exactly.
Let's throw technology into this conversation, all right? And in the studio, there's a lot of technology, obviously, right? A lot of instruments, a lot of now computer technology, and now even more so AI and things of this nature, which at the end of the day is no secret. It's affecting either good or bad every industry.
Absolutely.
So I want to see, do you think that AI is affecting your industry in a good way or a bad way? And then B, how do you use these tools to help you be more effective or be better?
First of all, AI is affecting everything. Period. How it's affecting you personally. You know, like, and how it's affecting the majority of the people.
Okay.
But the reality is that it's affecting. It's changing things for the good. I'm sorry. For the good or for the bad, depending on how you use it. In my personal opinion, I think it's good.
Okay.
That's how I see it. I see it like there's a bunch of new kids that know how to make music. Kind of sterile, because I can pick it right away when it's AI created music.
Really?
Yeah.
And you can now essentially make a whole song through AI, right?
You can make a song with just writing a letter. That's a prompt. Yeah. A. Make a song. A. And something will be given back to you.
Right.
Something. You know? So that's scary. You know, because the way it learns, the way it exponentially makes it more efficient and better and better and better and better and better. You know, it's
how do you use it to make it more efficient? Because knowing what you need it to do is the majority of the battle, right? You can't just open it and be like, help me. So how do you tie in your expertise and knowing what you need it to do to actually help you be more effective? What are some ways you're using it right now?
I use AI to create stems.
Okay.
Sometimes artists, I'm doing a lot of live shows now.
Okay.
So I have to program the entire project, you know, have all the stems ready, mix, all that. And sometimes those songs are with no stems. Many reasons. Lost projects, lost producers, lost contact, lost.
Got lost.
Non-existent. So the best way to do it is just to separate the stems, and I use AI for that. I also use AI
Hold on,
to
before you go to the next one, how long would that process take if you were to do it manual? And how long is the process take now with
no
AI?
manual. It's impossible.
Impossible. Got
Yeah,
it.
because you have to recreate every single instrument, and it will never sound exactly the same.
Got it.
And you
Okay.
have to be. I mean, it have to be so precise that it's not worth it.
Got it.
You know, so you just make a new version, and that's it.
And
But
now it's click, click,
now
and
with AI, you can actually have the actual stems, and it's getting better because maybe 2, 3 years ago when I started using it, it sounded kind of weird. You know, it created some artifacts. You will
okay.
listen to the acapella by itself, and you will hear like ghosts of the music behind. You know, because it wasn't so precise. But now,
Yeah, it's been
now
learning.
it's almost perfect.
It's been
almost,
learning.
It's almost perfect. You know, because I think it will get to a point that it will get to like a limit in calculus. You know, like it will almost touch the humans, but it will never be. That's how I see it personally. I actually studied computer science when I was in college like many years ago. I never actually did anything with that.
Sure.
But I actually,
but you have a little foundation of it.
yeah, but I know the world, you know?
Right.
I know the where it comes from.
All right. Hit me with the next thing you were going to say that you use it for.
I use it also for example, finding new sounds.
Okay.
I have a plugin that I use a lot that it's called Dice,
Okay.
that it changes the sound. You give it some sound and he changed it and flip it in some like new ways that will open your mind to new possibilities. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't, but at least it helps me to think, to, for example, to defeat an obstacle. I will use AI. If I don't feel like doing, for example, a beat, I will use AI to give me some feedback. And I will say, hey, I like how this sounds.
This
and
right
I'll
here.
start working.
And I
with
don't
that.
like this. Huh?
Many times. In the end, I discarded whatever the AI did, but it gave me a boost.
Sure.
Got it? Sometimes I leave it. Sometimes I leave it. I change it a little bit. Sometimes I leave it as it is, but most of the time I just discard it in the end. The original thing that created the AI, I just delete it. But the rest came from it. So I use it as a tool. It's like a plugin. It's like a new instrument. It's like the new kid in the block. You know, it's like
he's very
your
smart.
new friend. It's your new friend. You know, that can do a lot of things for you. You know, it's not here to take you over. Not just yet.
Yeah.
Maybe it will happen. What I think will happen in the very far future is a fusion, like a hybrid. We will just merge with machines, and people will be born with machines inside, like nano machines to like protect the cells against cancer, whatever. Yeah, that would be like something de facto for everybody, you know? Like, so that's, I think that's where we're going, really.
So not replacement, but integration.
Not the Matrix, not Terminator. I don't think it will go down that road. I think if that happens, we will kill each other before that happens.
Huh.
But it won't be because of the machines. I don't think so.
Or the machines won't kill us.
No, I don't think so. It doesn't make sense. You know, it doesn't make sense. At least not for now. Maybe in the future, yes. But what I think will happen is like a
things
merge.
Change.
Yeah, it's a merge. Like we will use it more, but it will be us using them always. You know, so that's mostly how I use AI, just to separate stems and to give me like the fire, the starting fire, you know, the spark,
inspiration,
the spark, at least a spark to that I can take to build my fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But I know people that create entire songs. You can just do something, create a song. That's it. Whatever. Now, if you want to have control, then you describe exactly what you want.
Sure.
And you can give them the lyrics. Or you can say, write a lyric that talks about this and create a song. Wow. And you go like, what? It's a song, a full song. Like sung perfectly, in tune, great arrangement, great sound, great mix, and great master.
Do you think this will allow artists to become successful that maybe aren't the best artists?
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I think it's a tool. I think the game changed because that's what people want. Because you can distinguish it. You can. If you listen carefully, you can distinguish when it's a AI and a human.
Yeah, that's
at least everything. I can do it.
No, that's for everything, not just music. I can tell when an email is AI.
Exactly.
And when the guy wrote me that email,
it's kind of cold.
Yep.
You know, it's kind of cold. Everything AI, it's kind of a little cold.
Yeah, it's missing personality.
It's missing something. And I think that since we don't know that, it would be impossible to replicate it. Because so far we're able to replicate what we understand. If you don't understand it, how can you replicate it?
Sure.
So we don't understand what actually make us human. We don't understand. You can say, "Oh, we're the smartest animal on the planet. Our brain is whatever." Killer whales have bigger and better brains than we do,
Right?
And they're not in control of the planet. They didn't have that extra oomph. You know what I mean?
They couldn't walk on land.
No, but they could have created like an underwater empire.
Yeah, maybe
they have language, they have culture. I mean, killer whales are like fascinating animals, but they stay animals. So that extra thing, we don't know what it is.
Very true.
We don't know. We can explain it through religion. We can explain it through science. We can explain it through
Technology,
whatever. But we actually don't know. So up to the point that when we actually understand what it is, then you can get scared.
Because then you can replicate it.
Because then it will be able to be replicated.
Yeah.
And that's a problem because that's when the machine will want to get rid of us.
Then we're an iRobot.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. So I want to transition now. You had mentioned earlier live shows and being a lot more involved in those now.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of live shows.
Absolutely,
right?
I know.
I've been a part of them in the business sense and in the viewing sense, but I've never really put one on when it comes to live music, right? Events and things of this nature, yes. And I'm going to assume it's the same thing where there's an anatomy to it. There's a way to build it and break it down,
Absolutely.
right? And so I want to kind of get into, what is an anatomy of a live show? What does that breakdown look like?
It's complicated. First of all, even the smallest live show, it's very complicated because what needs to someone that wants to do live shows, the first thing that needs to be trained at, it's at fixing problems.
Okay, that's funny. The event production company I sat with yesterday, the bulk of what he was saying is always, I'm a problem solver. I'm fixing problems.
That's the first and best skill that you can develop if you want to like make a living doing live shows and enjoy it.
Right.
Actually enjoy what you do. It's being a good problem solver, and by doing that, it's just trying to foresee how many problems can I get with this singer with one laptop for 50 people. That's my event. How many problems can happen? One, the singer not showing up.
Yep, big problem.
You have to have a backup plan. Always have 2 or 3 person that depending on how big is the event, because the more people you call, the more people are expecting your call and respecting your word. And then if you start canceling people, then people start reserving time for you.
Yep, stop picking up.
Exactly. So try to see how many problems do you have. Maybe a cable's broken, maybe the speaker is blown. Always have control of everything. Like I said, as much control as possible. Who's the sound guy? Where's the microphone? Who's going to give me the microphone? What are the times? Now, if you're running the show from A to Z, same thing. Where's the venue? Who's going to bring the stage? Who's the sound company? Who's going to manage the stage? Who's going to be calling musicians? Where are going to be the musicians? Who's going to give you food to musicians? Is there food for the musician? Do we have to travel? So each show is different, but what they all bring you, it's problems
that you have to solve.
Yeah, absolutely, because you're not on a vacation. You're trying to make this happen. So you have to know what can you encounter, because it will hit you in the head when least suspected. Something will cut fire.
And I think that's why experience is so important in these type of scenarios, because you've seen the fires.
Absolutely.
So you know what type of fire extinguishers to take.
Absolutely.
Or to own or to bring.
Absolutely. But when you start, it's the same thing.
You
might not know anything about event planning or live shows, event or anything. But you want to do it because you want to do it. You've seen it. You want to be a part of it. You have to start somewhere. You can go someone and just go with them and see how they do it, which is the best way,
For sure.
Being an active player in the game, and then you go your own way. But by doing just that, you will see, because the first show you go, something will happen, because something always happens. Even the sound's not in time. There's no enough power.
I've
Problems.
dealt with all of this.
Problems.
All the ones you say, I've already thought of the event or the venue.
That actually happened. Something will happen because that's normal life. So
Yep.
you need to be ready for that and enjoy the process of fixing that. Take pleasure when you fix something. Get feed by that. And so that you make something bigger and take bigger risks because now you know that you can solve this. So maybe let's push it.
I can solve anything.
I can solve this one. I can solve this. I can actually make this happen somehow, But you have to enjoy it because if you enjoy that, if you don't enjoy it, you're going to be stressed all the way.
Yeah.
Super stressed out because obviously you want to be a good show, right?
Sure. Yeah. And anything you do, you want it
But
to
you
be
lost
good.
control. You don't know nothing. Nobody's answering the phone. You're going crazy. The artist is not here. It's raining. Nobody knows where to park.
Check.
You know what I mean? So and you say, I'm gonna. You know what? I'm going home. I'm just let this thing burn down.
Burn down. Yeah.
Nobody will ever call me again. But I cannot live with this stress. I'm going to have a heart attack.
And I've seen that as well. And that's fine. Well,
People, I quit.
Yeah, they're happier now doing something else that they could be more in control of.
Exactly.
What's the biggest live performance process that you had been a part of, or maybe even led, or anything in that nature? What does that look like?
Well, shows in Puerto Rico with Jay Wheeler.
Okay.
Those were huge. Choliseo last year and the year before and the year before. I did those three, like super huge productions, full house, like.
How many people are behind that one production?
Well, at least I would say 25 to 30.
Okay, so that's a lot of moving parts at the same time,
Yeah,
and it all overlaps.
That's like being super efficient because
right.
I know artists that travel with 100 people.
Well, it's because he's organized.
Exactly. So it's like very, 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 very efficient, But it's like 20 something people.
Yeah, all working at the same time on different things that have to make this one Optimus Prime,
No sleeping sometimes, like at the end of you finish the show like 2 a.m. You have to be at the hotel at 4, and then you're at the airport at 6, and then you're traveling at 7, and then you get to the next place. Maybe it's a different country, different city. I don't know.
And you get to do it all over again.
You get like maybe 2 hours to sleep, and then you have to go to the sound check, and then you go back to the hotel. Sometimes you have to stay at the venue, so you have to wait up until the end of the show to get to the hotel, then take a shower, then maybe sleep for 2 hours, being down at 4, then go to the airport, go to the next place. Yeah.
I think that's why it's important then that you love it, because that just sounded like misery if you didn't want to do it.
If you don't love it, you better not do it. You better do something different because this is very stressful and it's very, very hard. It's an ugly industry. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's ugly. It's not pretty. It has the pretty face, which is the creative process, your song being a hit, a lot of people singing your song, the traveling.
The reward is pretty, but the work isn't.
But the behind the scenes is ugly. It's ugly because there's a lot of money. And since we're going there somewhere, there's a lot of money involved. So the business is not controlled by artists. It's controlled by people that don't know anything about art. They just see it as a product.
Right.
It's like selling sneakers.
Right.
It's just something
sneakers
that I need to sell. As much of this as possible. I don't care what it is. Oh, it's music. I need to know how to sell music, but I'm selling music.
Yep.
I'm selling something. If I'm going to sell cars, I need to know how to sell cars. But in the end, I'm just selling.
I didn't make the motor.
It doesn't affect me in any other way. It might be a great artist, it might be a shitty artist. If he's making the numbers, I'm going to support him.
Yeah, because as a business, then it makes sense.
Because that's what brings food to my table and maybe 1,000 more people.
Yep.
So I don't care if it's good or bad. I care if it brings food to the table of my entire company.
I care that enough people think it's good enough to bring money in. And then at that point you go with it.
If you're making the numbers and people are paying to go and see you live and people are streaming your song and people are buying your merchandise, I'm going to back you up.
Yeah.
Because obviously
It's working.
you make money and I want a piece of that.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that doesn't, it's not the same thing as saying, I am a fan of your art.
I believe in your art.
Like, for example, in the 1800s, you know, when princes and counts will pay musicians just to create art, and they will pay the painters just to pay. I will give you everything you need: housing, clothing, transportation, anything you need. You just do art. That doesn't exist anymore, you know?
Edgar wishes that he lived in the 1800s.
Can you imagine living in the
Edgar wants
past?
to go back. AI, take me back to 1800s and get me down with the princes.
I don't like those times, bro.
Yeah.
I'm more like a
Talk about
future.
dark.
I'm like a future person. Like I want to see the future. I want to see what's coming.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back, bro. No,
Yeah.
no, I've never. If they invent the time machine, I'll go to the future for sure.
Nice.
For sure.
Don't take me back.
As far as possible. Two-way ticket, please. You know, like
Right. Let me come back.
No, but as far as possible. If they say, do you want to go like 1 million years in the future? I would say yes. Like,
wow.
no brainer. I want to see.
Wait till you get there and there's no humans.
I want to see.
You're like, I was right.
At least I know
right.
at some point we fucked up.
Return trip. Return trip. We'll come and bring
No,
me
I
back.
need the return trip. Of course, I have to be two-way ticket. No, one way, no. One way, I'll go anywhere. I'll stay here. One way, I'll stay
One
here.
way, we're good in today.
They invent the time machine that says one way, I want to go.
This has been another episode of Rock Talk, one that I've enjoyed, one that's been extremely insightful and informational for musicians. Edgar, for maybe musicians out there or aspiring musicians, I loved what you had to say. How can they connect with you? What's a good way to find your work? What's the best way here?
Instagram, Edgar on the beat. Together.
All together,
Edgar
capital
on the
version,
beat.
but that doesn't matter.
Also, Black Diamond Studios, that's a studio I manage.
Okay.
We have an Atmos studio. We have a rehearsal space studio. Actually, I was yesterday with Goyo. Jay Wheeler has rehearsed there. We have production studio, photos, everything there. So
say it again, Black Diamond?
Black Diamond Studios.
Okay,
in
perfect.
Doral. Yeah,
perfect.
You can find it on my Instagram. I have a link for the studio.
There you go.
And we have a lot of new talent there. So it's a good spot to meet new people, you know, like get to know what's happening. A lot of big artists go there too, you know. So,
good to be part of the community.
Absolutely.
So,
and it's a studio that's like at the disposal of young talent. Not many studios do that, you know. They all want to charge you like
it's a business.
A lot of money. And in the end, you're going to be stressed out for the money. You're not going to like do what you actually, that's why people prefer recording at home.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, makes sense. And now they actually can with the technology.
Exactly.
So, Post Malone, if you're listening, make it happen.
Let's do this.
Later, guys.